Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us and taking the time. As you know, my goal is that everyone walks away with some new nuggets of information to help change your practice. You know, if you can pick up an idea or two and maybe visit with some new prospects this afternoon and make a sale, then this was a win-win-win across the board, and I hope everyone walks away with nuggets as usual. So real quick, I'll give you the 100-foot overview. We have Andrew Paris joining us. We also have Mark Detondo from Lafayette Life, who's our VP of Retirement Plan Sales. So he's a wealth of knowledge all the way from Lafayette Life, and I'm really excited about this for a few reasons. So I'll tell you briefly, and then we're going to jump right in. We're going to do things a little differently today. Mark is going to start in 2 to 3 minutes, and then as soon as he's done, me and Andrew are going to touch on some of the value add. We have some really cool software for small business owners we're going to touch on. We're also going to have our question of the day at the end of the webinar. So make sure you're paying attention, writing down notes, make sure your pen and paper is ready to go, or if you use a notes app, make sure your phone and notes app is up on your smartphone right now. Okay, please, because I want you to answer first and correctly at the end and win the new distribution solution book from Mary Reed. Okay, it's going to be awesome. And another reason why is, yes, mortgage protection, final expense, if you're selling the least expensive term insurance, you know, out of your 3rd-bedroom home office right now, those are great. And yes, those are wins. And yes, those keep the lights on, as we know, right? But when you listen to Lafayette's strategy, their portfolio, when you listen to the distribution solution strategy, which I know we're not going to dive into deeply, we're going to touch on it briefly, but the point is, these are monster cases that you're going to be dealing with now. We have had, since the Mary Reed podcast, we've had 3 cases come in now, each one over 100,000 of annualized target premium. Okay, so yes, the $120 a month case is great, and we need those coming in, of course, but wouldn't it be nice to land a $120,000 whole life sale, right? Or an IUL with living benefit sale by using this type of strategy. So anyway, the point is, I feel like as a successful insurance agent, you have to know enough to be dangerous on this side. Okay, yes, the mortgage protection, final expense, cheapest term, you know, $1 million, 20 years. It's easy. We all get it. We can make the sales. It keeps the lights on. And when it comes to this side, when we're talking about estate planning, retirement savings, tax savings, know enough to be dangerous, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today, and that's what Mark brings to the table. If you're not familiar with Lafayette, I'll just tell you right now, hands down, point blank, they have the top whole life in the industry today. Okay, and think about this for a minute. Mary Reed is associated with Pentegra. Okay, she's not tied to any life insurance company. Okay, it's her job to literally dissect every product and carrier to see what fits best with her distribution solution strategy. Guess what 2 products and carriers she came up with? This is after years and years of research. Okay, one, Lafayette Life Whole Life's product, okay, for the more conservative approach, and the LSW IUL for the more aggressive clients, okay? So that's part of the reason why we wanted to have Mark and Lafayette on today, because in my opinion, everyone needs to have a contract and have these products in their toolbox. And then what I'm going to do is, as soon as Mark is done, we're going to talk about the scholarship program, which also comes with Whole Life. So we'll touch on that at the end. But what I want to do right now is jump right in. Without further ado, I want to introduce our feature guest speaker, Mark Detondo from Lafayette Life. Mark, are you there, bud?
I am. Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate the introduction.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend a few minutes with Lafayette Life and myself. Before I get into the details of my presentation, which is specifically on on retirement plan services and our capabilities, I'd like to just give you an overview of Lafayette Life, its product portfolio, and what products you should be looking for in the qualified market space, but also in the non-qualified market space. In my presentation, you'll see that Lafayette Life is an A+ rated carrier with a 95 Comdex. We've been in business for over 100 years. We are currently under the umbrella of Western and Southern, which is a Fortune 500 insurer based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Lafayette Life has a three-legged approach. We sell whole life insurance and term. We sell fixed indexed annuities. And what I'm going to talk about today is we have our own retirement plan department, which has its own TPA, provides product, provides consultative services, and provides product for those plans. But let me just take a few minutes to talk on the non-qualified side before I do a deep dive into the third leg of the stool, which is retirement planning. Some key points about Lafayette Life that you may or may not know. One, we're the only company that offers iGo apps, which is online applications, e-delivery, which is the delivery from your computer, and accelerated underwriting from ages 18 to 55, up to $1 million of coverage. So we offer all those things. So in this COVID world that we live in today, you can do an illustration online, you can do an application online, and you can do a delivery online. And there's a potential that your client never needs to do blood and urine. So we're one of the few carriers, if not the only carrier, that offers all three of those services. Secondly, we have a lineup of whole life products, starting from a very, very competitively priced single pay whole life, where you can provide 100% cash value no later than year 3, in most cases in year 2. We have a 10 pay, which we use in the distribution solutions that Mary Reed talks to you about. We have a 65, 75 to 95, and 100 whole life policy. Our current dividend scale right now is 5.2. And the reason why I mention that is we're one of the few carriers in 2019 that actually raised its dividends instead of reducing it. So we're a company that is extremely conservative, delivers what we promise, and has a whole lineup of whole life products that will suit any one of your needs, whether it's bank on yourself, low cost whole life versus IUL or UL, blending whole life with paid up ads, so you use it as accumulation product, high death benefit programs. We blend term with our products on a 1-to-12 ratio. So what I mean by that is if you have $1 million whole life, you can put a $12 million term rider on there if you wanted to. Obviously in lower numbers, it's 100,000 and it's 1.2 million, fully convertible for the duration of the term, which is 10, which is actually now 7, 10, 15, 20, and 30 years, fully commissionable. We also offer 3 different types of annuities. We're one of the few carriers that has an annuity product that you can make additional deposits starting as little as $1,000 a year. And we also have a single premium indexed annuity that has a tremendous income rider that starts off paying a roll up at 7% at 45 to 61, increases to 8% from 61 to 74, and 9% from 74 to 95. Tremendous products, and we're one of the most competitive SPIA companies in the industry. So those are the 3 product lines: annuities, life insurance, and I'm going to talk in great detail now about our retirement plan services and what we offer and some of the products that we offer for retirement plan services. And what Bill was talking about, making a large sale, I've been doing this with Mary Reed actually since 2007, and the average commission that I see in the retirement plan world is between $40,000 and $100,000 per case, because we're one of the few TPAs in the industry that allows life insurance inside qualified plans, both on the DC side and the DB side. So very, very unique, very boutique-ish. Without further ado, I'm going to go into this presentation and save your questions for later, and I'm more than happy to answer those at the very end. So our goal is to help small business owners navigate their way to retirement. What Lafayette Life does, and particularly our department, is we offer consultative services. We do the plan design options. We also have funding options, and we do the administrative services. And in this world, that's called a 5500 form, okay? We're a small company feel with a large company backing, meaning that we're backed by Western and Southern, which is a Fortune 500 company. Qualified plans, why sponsor one? Retirement benefits. I mean, everyone's needs to retire, and they need to save money for retirement. Obviously, tax deductions. This is one that you might not think about. Help attract and retain employees. Inside of our defined benefit world, we can put a buy-sell agreement inside of there, and we can also do succession planning inside of there. And we'll talk about that later, but that's very, very important. And also, it's bankruptcy protected as long as you have one rank and file employee. And the best example that everyone can relate to, in my opinion, although it's not a great example, is O.J. Simpson in the NFL. Although even though he lost his civil suit to the Brown family, he still gets his NFL pension. Why would someone sell a qualified plan? Well, to protect existing business with your clients. Imagine if you had a buy-sell agreement with a client and someone came behind you and said, oh, by the way, did you know that you could put that inside of a qualified plan and get tax-deductible dollars? So it also helps expand your relationships. And as Bill alluded to and I just alluded to, the rewards are huge. Not only the commissions are huge, but the rewards are huge, knowing that you're helping a small business owner achieve their long-term goals of a safe retirement. What is a qualified retirement plan? An employer-sponsored plan established under IRC 401A. Contributions are tax deductible to the employer. Earnings are tax deferred. You must not discriminate in favor of highly compensated employees, except when we're looking at the cash balance world, which we'll talk about in a minute, where we can exclude a number of people covered, and the amount of benefits can vary. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So there are two sides of the fence when it comes to qualified world. There's defined contribution, which satisfies a SEP, a profit sharing, or a 401k. And then on the right side of the fence, you have defined benefits, which is a traditional defined benefit like a municipality worker might have, or old insurance companies that used to have benefits like that. And then you have the new world of cash balance plans and the oldie but goodie of 412E3. A couple points I want to make out here. One, the retirement benefit. In the DC world, you're looking for rates of the return. So you want to get as much rate of return in the DC world as you possibly can, because you want to have the largest number available in retirement. However, it's just the opposite in the defined benefit world, where you're accruing for a number. The returns are important, but not significant. So in the DB world, we're trying to fund to a maximum benefit of between 2.6 and $3 million by the time you retire, which is either 62 or 65, depending on when you start the plan, okay? Contributions can be both on the DC side, both the employer and employees. So an employee can put in what they call the 401k contribution, which in 2020 is $19,500. And if the person is over 50, they can put in another $6,500. Where in the DB world, all the money comes from the employer. Same holds true in the investment risk. If the employee is contributing to their 401k, they bear all the risks. So they can go in aggressive stocks if they so desire, or they can go into a bond fund if they desire. In the defined benefit world, the employer bears all the risk. The other difference is in the DC world, they have the individual accounts. So if you know a company that has a 401k, you know that they have 5 employees and they have 5 different accounts. In the defined benefit world, it's one account for all. That's what I just went over. Let's just do a little bit deeper dive into some of these plans. First thing that I'd like to point out is in a profit sharing plan, okay, a profit sharing plan, since it's all employer money, that can hold life insurance as an investment option inside the plan. Contribution flexibility, yes, which means that you can contribute or you don't have to contribute. It's easy to understand. You put your money in, it grows at a certain percentage or it loses a certain percentage, and that's your balance. You can take loans on it, and portability means that you can roll it over to a new plan or an IRA if you leave that employer. And here are some of the rules. Contributions are deductible up to 25% of compensation, up to $285,000 in 2020. You can have different plan designs. We typically use a new compatibility plan, which means each person in their own group. This helps the business owner save on contributions for their employees because each person is based on their age and their income. So for an older owner having younger employees, the contribution for that younger employees is less than they contribute for themselves because it's based on age and income. They can include life insurance as a funding option up to limits, and we'll get into those limits a little bit later. And then on top of a profit sharing plan, you can add a 401k component, which is the employee deferral part of a profit sharing plan. So what I like to say is all 401ks start with a base of a profit sharing plan, and they add the 401k component. Again, life insurance can be offered. Contribution flexibility, again, $19,500, easy to understand. Loans are available. Typically, a loan is up to $50,000, okay? And it must be paid back within 60 months with post-tax dollars. So if you take a loan, you're paying it back with post-tax dollars. And again, you can roll that over to a new plan if you leave employment, or you can roll it over to an IRA. Today's world, you can either defer on a pre-tax basis, or you can do it on an after-tax basis, which is called a Roth 401k, and you can put up to $19,500 in a Roth 401k. Pros, great way for employees to save additional money, and flexibility amount for employees to defer. The cons can be hard to administer. Ooh, sorry about that. Can be hard to administer. Roman forms, notice, etc. Highly paid employees may be limited based on contributions of highly and non-highly paid employees. We'll talk about that in the next slide. And trustee must offer a diverse mix of investment options, meaning that you can't just say, I'm going to do all one stock or all one mutual fund. You have to have what they call an asset allocation model, meaning you have to have large cap, small cap, mid cap, bonds, fixed accounts, etc. And also you have to add target date funds, 2020, 2030, 2040, 2050, 2065, etc. On top of that, an employer can offer a safe harbor plan on top of their 401k. A 401k that includes a required safe harbor employer contribution, which means that if you have a safe harbor contribution, it guarantees passing certain non-discrimination testing, allowing the owners to defer the maximum amount. And there are 2 types of formulas. The most popular formula is the 3% non-elective that goes to all eligible employees. So what that essentially means is this. If I work for your firm and I don't contribute and I have the non-elective safe harbor, I'm still going to get 3%, no matter if I contribute or not. So that's the most popular match because that guarantees that the owners can put in the full $19,500, and if they're older, they can put in the $6,500 catch-up. And older, I mean being older than 50. The second formula is match, which goes to only those deferring. And the formula for that is 100% for the first 3%, and then 50% for the next 2. So if an employee is putting in 5%, then the employer is giving that employee 4%. Let's talk about traditional defined benefits. We don't do a lot of these today. They're more common in schools, municipalities, old, Fortune 100 companies, IBM, life insurance companies were very popular back in the day, but traditional DBs don't go a long way. Are not very popular in today's world. In the next slide, we'll see that this is more popular, but it's an employee-sponsored plan guaranteeing a specified benefit at retirement. Each employee's future benefit is determined by a specific formula, generally a percentage of pay at retirement times the years of service. So a typical formula might be number of years of service times the last 5 consecutive years of income, the percentage of that. It's paid regardless of investment returns. So typically traditional DB plans are not invested in crazy investments. They're typically invested in bonds, some blue chip stocks, etc. Pros and cons: higher benefit and contribution amounts than defined contribution plans. Maximum benefit, today it's $230,000. This is an old slide, but it's $230,000 or 100% of compensation. Okay. Cons again: inflexible contributions, actuary certification of contributions needed, and it's not easy to understand. The most popular plans that came around in the mid-'80s is what they call a cash balance plan. And this is considered a hybrid plan because it follows defined benefit rules, but it looks like a DC plan. What I mean by that is at the end of each year, you get a statement that tells you how much money you have in your account. Okay, you have higher contribution limits, life insurance is offered. Here's the big key: you get a guaranteed benefit at the end of the rainbow. So the benefit is guaranteed, very easy to understand, and again, it's portable, meaning that you can roll it over to an IRA when you retire. Okay? What's most popular today is adding a 401k with the cash balance plan. So basically, this is a second layer on top of your 401k. Now, the nice thing about this is you don't have to change the 401k if you add a cash balance plan. So as an example, let's just say you have a 401k with Fidelity, and the business owner says to you, I want to do more than $63,000 in my 401k. So what can I do? Well, Mr. Business Owner, you can add a cash balance on top of that, and depending on your age and your income, you can put as much as $265,000 away instead of $63,000, and we'll have someone do the third-party administration for both plans. So the plans are tested together for discrimination testing. It allows for a larger benefit to owners and smaller benefit to employees based on the cash balance plan. DC amounts vary year by year to pass the test. The cost of the DC to pass is less than the cost of the cash balance plan. So we do all that for you, so that's not necessarily what you need to understand. What you need to understand is it's very good. These plans are designed for older, higher paid owners and younger, lower paid employees. Now, what I like to emphasize this is not for the major corporations. We do these plans starting at one owner, one person groups. So our niche at Lafayette Life is 1 to 100, but more specific, 1 to 50, where we play very well in the sandbox. And then the granddaddy of them all is the 412E3, formerly 412I. This is a DB plan funded with insurance products only. So you can only use annuities or annuities in whole life. That's all you can use. You can't use mutual funds. You can't use stocks. Only annuities and whole life. Because this is the highest contribution due to the low interest rates guarantees. The investment risk is with the insurance company. So what we do, with the exception of Texas and Florida, is we only give a guaranteed rate of return of 1%. But for a business owner age 60 making $285,000, their contribution, believe it or not, is up to $365,000 a year that can go into this plan. Again, very high contribution limits. Life insurance can be offered or cannot be. Guaranteed benefit. No contribution flexibility. So when you set a number that you're going to contribute, you need to contribute that for at least 5 years. Very portable and no investment risk. We are going to guarantee that 1% rate of return, or in Florida, in Texas, a 3% rate of return. Okay? This only works best for a one-person group, a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, a very successful one-person business, a family-run business, or a partnership. As soon as you involve rank and file, it becomes too expensive to run for the business owner. So that's where we switch to the cash balance, where we have more flexibility in plan design. So here's the difference between a cash balance and a 412. One, in the cash balance, you have contribution rating. You have a minimum contribution you have to make or a maximum contribution. On the other side of the fence, it's a fixed contribution that you need to make every year. Profit sharing plans are all often contributed or included in a combo scenario where profit sharing is optional in the 412 scenario. In the cash balance world, benefits vary by classes. So when you fill out a census for a cash balance plan, the job descriptions are essential. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too when we show you how to fill out a form. But job descriptions are essential so that we can either carve them out, rate them as a job classification, or just give them more benefit, okay? But in a fully insured plan, it's the same benefit for all. So if you have rank and file employees, you're going to give them a very large benefit, even though you're getting a large benefit. And the market risk is for the owner. So in a cash balance world, we like to use safe and predictable investments. You can use whatever investment that you want. You can use mutual funds, you can use stocks. However, there's a downside to doing that. And the downside is this. Let's just say in 2020, the market does 20% positive, and you're doing a contribution, a total contribution of $200,000. In 2021, because you had a 20% rate of return, we're going to lower your contribution that year by 20%. So your tax deductibility just decreased by 20%. Conversely, if the market does a negative 20% and your contribution now is $200,000, you now need to put 20% more into that plan for next year. So instead of putting in another $200,000, now you have to put in $240,000. So we like to be conservative and use fixed products so that you don't have the fluctuation in the variances each year and year out. So we're very conservative in our plan design, in our product funding options when we design these products. Okay, let me take a deep breath. Why, you may ask, do we fund life insurance in a retirement plan? Well, number one, it's one of the only tax deductible options that you have. So if you put a life insurance premium inside of a qualified plan, that's tax deductible. So if a business owner is in a 40% tax bracket and they're spending $10,000 on a life insurance contribution inside of a qualified plan, that net premium is 60%. Versus doing that same $10,000 outside of the plan, that premium is $14,000. So therefore that you reduce your personal expenses because you're not taking that money out of your pocket. It's a contribution inside of the plan. You get a pre-retirement death benefit for the most part that is tax-free. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Proceeds are immediately available. So if I have a life insurance product inside of my qualified plan and I die tomorrow, the benefits are paid out tax-free to the trust and then to my beneficiary. Again, we mentioned earlier, you get bankruptcy protection for ERISA assets. Here's the income tax advantage at death. Let me give you a scenario. We have $1 million face policy. We have $100,000 cash value. So that person would get $900,000 tax-free, and that $100,000 would roll back into the qualified plan. So you still get the $1 million. It's just spread out a little bit differently. So it's a great feature to provide a pre-tax benefit that fully completes your retirement plan. And what I mean by that is this. Let's just say that I have a cash balance plan and that in 5 years, it's going to pay me out $1 million. But I die in year 1. That life insurance policy is going to pay my spouse that $1 million. So it acts as a self-completing vehicle just in case I don't make it to retirement. Conversely, if I do make it to retirement, that cash value is still there, and I have that for retirement benefits. And I'll show you in a later slide how we can distribute this life insurance policy from the plan. The other thing that's important to know is Lafayette Life has 2 different underwriting programs. We have a simple underwriting program from 3 to 19 lives up to $100,000. But more importantly, we have a guaranteed issue program for 5 lives or more. So you can see the scale, 5 to 10 lives up to $100,000. In over 100 lives, we can offer $500,000 guaranteed issue with no underwriting if you have 100 lives or more. In a qualified plan, everybody has to take the life insurance unless they sign a waiver saying they don't want it. And so it has to be offered, but they can waiver out. I just did a plan in Sutton, Massachusetts, where it was 34 lives, and each participant got up to $200,000 on a guaranteed issue. That plan was submitted last week, and every life policy is already issued, and now we're just waiting for the funding. So it's a great program, and another reason to use Lafayette Life, because there's not a lot of third-party administrators, 1, that offer life insurance in qualified plans, and 2, have a guaranteed issue program. Also, another feature to use Lafayette Life is this. If rank and file employees terminates in the first 2 years of the policy, will return all their premiums minus the term cost is refunded to the plan. So they don't lose their premiums. As you all know, life insurance cash value doesn't accumulate real fast inside of a whole life policy. So after 2 years, they might not have 100% of their cash value. But in our rules, if they terminate in the first 2 years, we'll give them all back all their money minus their term costs, which is very, very affordable. Okay, So how much life insurance can you put into a plan? Since we only sell whole life, it's less than 50%. So if you have a cash balance plan and your contribution is $100,000, we will tell you that $40,000 of that can go to the life insurance part of the plan as a contribution. So as you can see, this is an easy way, one, to make a great commission, but also to provide a significant benefit to the business owner and their rank and file employees. Okay? As I mentioned earlier, how do you take a life insurance policy out of a plan to distribute it? Well, there's basically 4 ways. Number 1 is simply surrender the policy and move the cash back and move the cash value back into the qualified plan, whether it's a 401k or profit sharing plan or a cash balance plan. Number 2 is take the life insurance cash value as a taxable distribution and pay the taxes. So what I mean by that is this. Let's just say that you have a life insurance policy that has $100,000 cash value and you're in a 40% tax bracket. You write a check to Uncle Sam for $40,000 and now you own this life insurance outside of the plan, that now the cash value is tax free, and we add a living benefits rider once it's outside of the qualified plan. So you have a long-term care benefit added to the plan as long as you're standard or better in an underwriting class. 3 is you swap dollars, meaning that if you have that same $100,000 in the plan, you write a check for $100,000 deposit in the plan, and now you own the life insurance outside of the plan. And 4, you take a policy loan within the plan, then you take the distribution. So you have multiple ways of taking this money out of the plan. How do you get started? The first thing that we ask for is that you fill out a proposal request form. And there's obviously the highlighted yellow are very crucial to us doing a plan properly. The business entity is important. Answering these 4 questions is important. The desired maximal contribution is important. But if you don't know that, just write maximum or max, and we'll start off with maximum contributions, and then we can always skinny it down if that's too much for the employer to support. What I like to talk about is a sample spreadsheet on this, on the name, the date of birth, date of hire. All of this is critical. All this is critical. However, in the job titles, we want to name as many different job titles as possible when we're doing cash balance plans, so that if a business owner wants to exclude employees, because each person has their own job classification, we can exclude employees. We can also exclude family members and highly compensated employees. A highly compensated employee definition is any employee making over $130,000 in 2020 can be excluded. So the job title is important. Also, the number of hours worked is important too, because anybody working less than 1,000 hours can be excluded from a plan. And there's just some basic questions that you can ask on this. Who's eligible to participate in a qualified plan? Well, the good news is all business entities can adopt a plan. And you can see the types of entities and how we do it. So if we're sole prop, we use Schedule C, line 31. Use that income. Partnerships, we use income from their K1. C&S, we use their W-2s. W-2 pay is used for employees. Here's a key question that's always asked to me. It must be active income from owners. You can't use royalties. You can't use dividends from stocks. You can't use rental incomes from rental properties. It has to be active income, earned income from your business. Design topics. What are you looking for? You're looking for additional tax deductions? Are you looking for a long-term savings programs, more retirement programs? Remember, a 401k today for a business owner can be a maximum contribution of only $63,000. So if for a business owner making $500,000 a year, $63,000 a year is not going to solve their lifestyle at retirement. So a cash balance contribution at age 60, making $285,000 is $265,000. 5 years of funding of that is over $1 million. That will help them along the way. Also, it will help them attract and retain top talent. Reason being is we can put a vesting schedule on the profit sharing component and in the cash balance plan for up to 6 years. So there's three different formulas. You have immediate vesting, you have a 3-year cliff vesting, which means you get nothing up to 3 years and then it's 100%, or you have a 6-year vesting, which means it's 0% year 1, and then year 2 it's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100% by year 6. Okay? Also, we can provide pre-retirement death benefit with tax deductible premiums. That's huge. As I mentioned earlier, if you pay for it with post-tax dollars and you're in a 40% tax bracket, each dollar is costing you $1.40, where inside of a qualified plan, each dollar is only costing you 60 cents. And you can fund a buy-sell or a succession plan inside of that. Time constraints limit me to talking and getting to detail, but on the next session or a one-on-one session, I'm more than happy to get into detail on succession planning. And again, our time horizon for these plans is typically a minimum of 5 years. So we're looking for someone with stable income that needs additional tax deductions and looking for a long-term savings program for at least 5 years, okay? And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's federal creditor protection as long as you have one rank and file employee. Let's do a couple case studies. This is a business owner, one-person company, an owner age 50, S-corp earnings of $1 million, no idea what planning like, how much to contribute or anything like that, maybe 50, maybe 500,000. The next slide I'm going to show you is the whole gamut in the retirement planning services industry. So we can start off as a simple, you can put away 24,000 or a SEP. Now this is a year old, so this year's SEP contribution is 57,000. Same holds true with a profit sharing plan of 57,000 and a 401k is 63,000. Well, let's look at on the DB side. Look at these numbers, guys. 226,000, 207,000, for a 412, $324,584. More importantly, look at the tax savings. In a cash balance plan, his out-of-pocket expense is $207,000, but Uncle Sam's giving him back $83,000. So this plan is costing roughly out of pocket $124,000, and he's putting $207,000 away. That's an absolute no-brainer if they have the cash flow. Second idea. This is a sales idea I like to demonstrate because I'm a big proponent of low-hanging fruit and availability for you guys, as Bill said. But when you hang up the phone today, you have an idea that you can go to some of your business owners and say, did you know? So this is the did you know example. This is a business owner that is age 54, that has a spouse age 51, 2 employees age 34 and 43, has a SEP but wanted to vary the contributions. Okay, so the SEP rules are this. If you have employees, you have to give your employees the same percentage contribution as you put in for yourself. So if I'm putting in 25% for myself, I have to put in 25% for my employees as long as they've worked there 2 out of the last 5 years and they've earned $500. Those are the rules. Most CPAs, when they're going to do the plans, don't acknowledge the fact that the business owner now have employees because when they set up the SEP, they had no employees, and they're not cognizant then that I have employees. And so there's severe penalties if they ever get audited with a SEP with employees. But more importantly, why would you ever do a SEP when you can do a profit sharing plan, increase your contribution from 44,000 to 54,000, and decrease your contribution to employees from 17,000 to $4,250. Granted, you have to set up a 5,500, which is going to cost you $1,350, but you're getting 91% of the money to yourself versus 72%. So this is low-hanging fruit, guys, for any business owner that, one, has employees that still has a SEP. Go to them and say, did you know that I can save you money on your contribution for your employees? Any questions for me? Andy, are you going to turn that on, or are you not going to allow questions? I didn't ask that question in advance. I apologize.
Yeah, Mark, actually, the number of attendees we actually kept a closed line. But what we're doing is we have that question box on the bottom right corner. So we're answering everyone as they come in. And then what we'll do, Mark, is after the call, if anyone needs us to loop you back in, we'll set up a conference call. We have no problem with that, just so everyone's in a loop here. Yeah.
Fair enough. So having said that, I want to thank you for your time. I know I went through this fast and quickly. If anyone would like to do a one-on-one, I'm more than happy to do that. And if anybody would like a book on retirement planning, please send me an email, and I'm more than happy to send you a book on retirement planning that goes over this in greater detail. Again, that book was written by Mary Reed. So she has this one and also on distribution strategies. So
awesome. Okay, good. Mark, that was awesome. I want to just end right at 3 p.m. Eastern here. So, yes, I want to thank everyone. Then we have a couple other things here, and we'll share the information for Mark. We'll get you that book he was referring to, no problem. And then we're giving away her distribution solution book as well. She actually authored 3 different retirement strategies and tax savings books that we have on our website. They're available at co-op pricing. And then what we're also doing is if you get appointed with Lafayette Life, we will send you a free copy as well. Okay, if you're not already appointed or you're with another IMO and you move over to us, we beat your commission and you'll get that free copy as well. So either way, we'll include that in tonight's thank you email that will go out to every attendee that's on the call. Okay, so let's move to the next slide here. I just want to touch on a few more items that I think are very, very important. Mark, that was, I'll tell you, a lot of information, some great, great stuff. I learned a lot today, so I hope you all did as well. And this will be the first of many with Mark as a guest speaker because that was so valuable. Even if you're not a pro in this space and a lot of the lingo, this is the first time you heard about or some of the abbreviations, it's okay. All right, if you pick up an idea or two, we can even set up a call once you're appointed with Mark and us, and we'll get you comfortable so you can go speak to your client. And again, just know enough to be dangerous. You know, that's what it comes down to. All right, so we have a whole life section on our website that I wanted to touch on quickly. If you just hover over the marketing tab, it'll say traditional whole life, and then all of Lafayette's information, marketing pieces, consumer approved pieces are all in the below drop down, okay? Plus, along with our other whole life carriers. So everything's at your fingertips, updated in real-time fashion. What I want to mention too is they have a true non-med, no exam needed, whole life underwriting platform. Okay, so you know, right now especially you're hearing a lot about carriers changing guidelines. Hey, we have non-med to 2 million and 5 million and a $500,000, and then basically what they're doing is handpicking all the preferred best cases. And yes, they're no exam, but then they say, oh, if there's a red flag, it gets kicked out and goes to full blood and urine specimen and APS ordering, etc. Lafayette has a true non-med $1 million platform. Okay, so we've seen a lot of cases fly through with no exam. So my point is, make sure you're set up and you're ready to write. There's a lot of value add here. I promise you that. That's why we wanted to feature them on today's call. Okay, let's move forward here. Also, our scholarship program is included, 1-year tuition with any of their whole life products as well. So another value add by you working with Levinson. All right, I want to fast forward here real quick. We had 3 cases come out of this podcast episode, folks. If you don't even know what a podcast is, it doesn't matter, okay? You can go on YouTube, just put in Levinson 1, you'll see our channel come up, or go to your favorite podcast channel, go to our website, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? But make sure you listen to episode 21 with Mary Reed. It's freaking awesome. It's 1 hour. I interview her one-on-one. We discuss all kinds of sales strategies for retirement savings, tax codes, what you need to know to be dangerous when you're talking to small business owners, okay, or successful individuals that are looking for tax strategies. This is a great, great episode. Even if you're new in the business, I encourage you to listen in to this specific episode. And I also want to say I have 22 episodes that are running now, and we have our new episode launching in August, and here's why I want to take a second to touch on this. So I am interviewing the CEO of Haven. His name is Euron Bensby. He's a Wharton grad. He was rated the top 5% CEOs in New York City from Entrepreneur magazine. He is a freaking insurance genius. I'm so looking forward to this. It's coming out in August. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to share with you all. But yes, 22 episodes now. Mary Reed is on episode 21. And if you leave a review on any of your favorite podcast channels or our Facebook page, I'll send you our IUL prospecting book as well on us. Okay, as long as you're appointed, I will send it out for free, no questions asked. All right, let's move forward. So if you are with Lafayette Life with another competitor, another IMO, and I hope you're not with one of these multi-level marketing groups where you're 22 levels below getting a 25% commission. But either way, if you're set up right now and you move the contract over to Levinson, we match or most of the time beat your commissions, plus take advantage of free leads with your first app or cash for contracting, your choice. Okay, plus we're going to beat your commissions 99% of the time. So we're going to include these 2 coupons in today's thank you email. I want to touch on another incentive, okay? Our Haven term product up to $500,000 instant decision, and it's 100% direct to consumer. That means your client can go on your website, run a quote, apply online, get approved instantly, save their policy, all within 7 minutes or less. Okay, I hope you're up and running now. You get paid full commission even if you had 0 involvement or you walked your client through over a phone call or through a go-to webinar like you're on right now. You write your first app, we give you the new Amazon Fire tablet or a $50 Amazon gift card, no questions asked. As soon as your first app is in, we send out your incentive. You are done. Okay, Andrew's going to talk briefly on our small business owner sales strategy platform, and then we're going to dive into some upcoming agent training events, and we're going to wrap up in 4 to 5 minutes here. Andrew?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. I want to go over the Levinson Business Valuation software tool. Okay, if you guys are not taking advantage of this, it's a perfect segue to the conversation we're having today with Lafayette Life. And a lot of business owners that you talk to might be sole proprietors, partnerships. They just got started. They're just now starting to build momentum. Many of the time, they haven't set up an actual valuation of what their business is actually worth. And they need help with that, because if they don't know that, they don't actually understand the inconsistencies of their business and what insurance needs they have, right? So if you don't understand your worth and you don't understand your tax implications, how are you going to know what type of life insurance you should buy? Should it be key man? Should it be buy-sell? Should it be business overhead expense? Disability buyout? There are so many types of business plans other than the 401ks and plans we just went over with Lafayette today, that you could sell to your business owner clients. So we have a software. It's 100% free for any Levinson agent that's contracted with us, and we can actually have a CPA and an attorney build you a business valuation, an informal business valuation for your business that will show you the inconsistencies in their portfolio. So you're not selling them, you're advising them on which products make sense for their business. This is a great door opener to talk to your businesses and give them something complimentary. This does not cost them anything. They don't have to hire a CPA or an attorney that would have normally cost them a lot of money. So definitely contact myself, contact our marketing team. We'd like to help you with this and get you moving forward so we can help your business owner clients. Also, I want to go over our upcoming training events. As you know, Agency Automator is one of our top technology and marketing programs. We host webinars Monday through Friday to show you how to use it. Now, we have a business owner database built into this. So this is key to know. We have over 500,000 business owner contacts just sitting in this account. We have a couple million different options for you to go in by zip code, by state, by income, by type of business. You know, you can go in, there's millions of leads sitting in here to actually go target and sell to those business owners, right? So generate your own leads. So join us on these webinars, learn how to use it so that you can go after more business owner clients. Every Wednesday, we have our Legacy Armor training that's also great for business owners to secure their assets on our digital vault. And then on 8/4 at 2 p.m., we're going over our top guaranteed issue products on the Insure Me Now Direct platform. These are blowing up due to COVID-19. You can imagine these are selling like hotcakes. So definitely get on these webinars. I'm going to get it over to Bill for our Positive Tuesday so we can wrap up. Bill, you there?
Yes, good stuff, Andrew, as usual. So, you know, I know we talk about a lot of info on these webinars, and, you know, we go from one side to the other. But I think the main purpose is if you can pick up an idea or two or three, and you can get a copy of our latest distribution solution book, and you pick up a new client or small business because of this, then it's a win-win, right? And that's why we do these weekly. So the point is, I want to hear from you, okay? If you liked what we went over, if you didn't like it, if you want to share some comments, we create these weekly for you all agents, okay? I want to make sure this is great value add for you all. That's what makes me feel great. That's what makes us all tick here at Levinson. So please share. Okay, I'm going to end on a Positive Tuesday quote, and then I'm going to give away our incentive of the day. So real quick, it is so easy right now to be negative, give up, and take the exit to nowhere. The few that can stay focused and positive throughout will always wind up at the right destination. Keep your eyes on the road, especially during this time, okay? I'm telling you, there are lots of agents that are crushing it right now. I promise you, okay? Our numbers are higher than ever, okay? And there's a handful of agents that are taking advantage and crushing it and getting scrappy. And they're making lots of sales at the low end, on the high end, all over the board. So the point is, there's no excuse. You can all do it, and we have all of the strategies, platforms, products that it takes to be successful. So please make sure you put your right foot forward, and we're here to help. Our question of the day, I said it twice. How many episodes are on the Bill Levinson Experience podcast? I said the number twice. Whoever says it first wins. What we're doing is giving away the new IUL prospecting book and the new Mary Reed, How to Use the Tax Code to Get the IRS Out of Your Retirement, latest copy of her new book. So, Andrew, do we have a winner? The number of episodes on our podcast.
Yes, we do have a winner. It is Felicia C. Felicia C. from Texas is the winner. First to answer correctly.
The answer was 22 episodes and growing every month. Congratulations, Felicia. We'll send you your 2 copies this afternoon. Have a wonderful rest of the week, a good weekend, great selling, no excuses. Put your right foot forward. We can all do this together, build and grow and stay healthy. Take care.